That jar of treats on your counter, the one you reach into every time your dog sits, stays, or just looks at you the right way, is the most emotional purchase in the entire pet aisle. It's how you say I love you without words. And it's exactly where the industry hides its cheapest, ugliest ingredients. Because here's the loophole most owners never think about. A treat doesn't have to be complete, balanced, or good for your dog at all. It just has to make the dog want it and make you feel good handing it over. So we went through it. We pulled the FDA's files on treats that send dogs to the emergency room. We read the ingredient panels line by line, the ones printed too small to read, in the store. We traced who actually owns these rival brands, and we lined up the marketing on the front against what's really in the bag. By the end of this, 5 of the most popular treats in America are going to look very different, and we'll show you 3 that are just real meat. Plus the checklist to pick a good one yourself. Don't skip ahead, let's be clear. Before we start, we are not here to shame you for spoiling your dog. And we're not saying never give a treat. Treats are one of the best tools you have for training, for a bond, for a good day at the vet. The problem isn't that you give them, the problem is that the thing marketed hardest as a reward is often the thing built cheapest and dressed up to fool the one shopper who's paying you. So here are the 2 things to understand before the countdown, and they'll change how you read every bag. First, a named meat, beef, chicken breast. Beef liver is a real ingredient. A word like meat, poultry, animal digest, or meat byproduct with no animal named is a red flag. It means the species isn't guaranteed. Second, your dog is colorblind to red and green. Every artificial dye in a treat is aimed at your eyes on the shelf, not your dog's mouth. Keep both in mind. You're going to need them. Because here's the reveal that frames this whole list. These 5 brands look like 5 different companies competing for your money. They're not. Behind all 5, there are only 3 owners. And not one of them is really a pet company. One makes your coffee and your Twinkies, one makes Snickers, one is a Swiss giant behind Nescafe and Kit Kat. Keep that in your back pocket. It's the punchline. Let's start the countdown. Number 5 is the one hiding behind the friendliest face in the aisle. The biscuit your grandparents probably fed their dog to. Number 5 is Milk-Bone. It might be the most trusted treat name in America. It's been in the cupboard for over a century, and the box promises 12 vitamins and minerals, and that it helps clean your dog's teeth. It feels less like a treat and more like a little daily dose of health. That feeling is the product. Let's read the actual bag. The first ingredient in the original Milk-Bone is ground whole wheat. The second ingredient is wheat flour. So the base of this meaty biscuit is wheat, then more wheat. The only meat is the third ingredient, and it's listed as meat and bone meal, generic. No animal named, rendered from an unspecified source, and the fat is preserved with BHA. A chemical California has officially listed as a carcinogen since 1990. That's not a health biscuit, that's a wheat cracker with a vitamin sticker and a preservative your own state flags as a cancer risk. And that helps clean teeth line. A hard biscuit crunches. That's it. It's not dental care, it's texture. If you want to actually help your dog's teeth, a real chew or a vet-checked dental routine does the job. A wheat biscuit with a health claim printed on the box does not. The claim isn't lying about the crunch. It's counting on you to hear clean teeth and think healthy. And who makes this wholesome-looking biscuit? J.M. Smucker, the company behind Folgers Coffee, Jif Peanut Butter. And since 2023, Hostess Twinkies hold on to that name because you're going to see it again on this list, more than once. But first, number 4. The treat that promises the one thing your dog can smell from across the house and barely delivers it. Number 4 is Beggin Strips. This is the one your dog loses its mind over. The bacon smell hits. The dog spins in circles and the bag says made with real bacon in big friendly letters. It works. It's one of the best selling treats in the country, but made with real bacon is doing an enormous amount of lifting in that sentence, and the ingredient list tells you exactly how much. Here's the honest version. Pork is genuinely the first ingredient, so made with real meat is technically true. We'll be fair about that. But the star of the ad, bacon, sits all the way down around the 14th ingredient. Behind barley, oatmeal, brewer's rice, soybean meal, wheat, glycerin, and sugar. So the thing on the front of the bag is behind 6 grains. A soap and biodiesel byproduct called glycerin and straight sugar. It's a soft, sweetened, grain-based strip that's been made to smell like bacon. That's not a bacon treat. That's the idea of bacon sold to your nose. And then there are the colors. Beggin strips are dyed with red 40, yellow 5, blue 1, and yellow 6 to look like real strips of meat. But your dog is dichromatic. Red and green look gray to them. Your dog cannot see that these look like bacon. The dye is 100% for you, the human at the shelf. The same dyes in human food have to carry a warning about children's attention across Europe. Here they go in the treat, so the picture matches the bag. And the fat, again, is preserved with BHA. Who makes it? Nestlé, the Swiss giant behind Nescafe coffee and Kit Kat. The biggest food company on the planet. The gap between real bacon and what's actually in the bag was big enough that a class action once challenged it, though to be fair, that lawsuit was dismissed. So it's an allegation, not a ruling. But you don't need a courtroom, you just need the ingredient list. Now, before we get to number 3, which might be the most quietly misleading treat in the whole store, I need 10 seconds. If this is already changing how you read a treat bag, take 1 second to subscribe and hit like. It genuinely helps push this to the dog owners who are about to reach for one of these on the way to the register. That's the whole point. Okay, number 3. The treat that sells itself as medicine for your dog's mouth. Number 3 is Pedigree Dentastix. This one is clever because it isn't sold as a treat at all. It's sold as dental care. The egg shape, the clinically proven to reduce plaque and tartar, the daily routine framing. Owners hand it over feeling like they're brushing their dog's teeth. And here's where we're going to be precise. Because precision is the point of this channel, we're not going to tell you the dental claim is fake. The texture and one of the additives can genuinely scrape a little tartar, and that's fair. What we're telling you is what it's made of. The first ingredient is rice flour, the second is wheat starch, the third is glycerin, then gum, Arabic and gelatin. There is no real meat in it. The poultry on it is natural poultry flavor, a flavoring, not chicken. So the dental treat your dog gets every single day is, at its core, a flavored starch and gelatin stick. You're feeding a gummy made of wheat starch to clean teeth. And the company selling your dog its dental care. Mars, the candy company. M&M's, Snickers, Twix, Skittles. The people who make the candy that rots human teeth also sell the stick that's supposed to clean your dog's. If you want to actually help your dog's teeth, there are chews. The Veterinary Dental Council has genuinely tested this starch stick just isn't the health product the box implies. Now we're into the top 2. And this is where the ingredient list stops being disappointing and starts being genuinely hard to defend. Number 2 is Pup-Peroni. And Pup-Peroni is going to sound at first like it beats everything above it because it's right there on the front. Real beef is the number 1 ingredient, slow cooked. And that part is true. Beef is number 1, but a treat is the whole ingredient list, not the first word. And it's what comes right after the beef. That puts this at number 2. After beef comes soy grits. Then at number 4, sugar. Then vegetable glycerin, the soap and biodiesel softener. Then at number 8, propylene glycol, then added color, then BHA. So this real beef strip is beef followed by a stack of sugar, cheap softeners, dye, and a cancer-listed preservative. It reads less like slow-cooked beef and more like a chemistry set built to stay soft and sweet on a shelf for 2 years. And that propylene glycol deserves a second because it's the cleanest example of the whole double standard. The FDA looked at propylene glycol and banned it from cat food. It damages a cat's red blood cells. Banned in the next aisle over. It's perfectly legal in your dog's treat. And it's the 8th ingredient in this one. It's chemically related to antifreeze, the safer cousin, to be clear, not the kind that kills. But sit with the logic, too dangerous for a cat, fine for your dog, and you never know unless you read to the 8th line. And the owner of Pup-Peroni, J.M. Smucker, again, the Twinkies company, that's 2. Which brings us to number 1, and number 1 is where treats stop being a marketing problem and start being a safety one. Number 1 is Milo's Kitchen, the home-style chicken jerky, the kind of soft, meaty strip that feels the most like real food, and it belongs to the single most dangerous category in the entire treat aisle. Chicken jerky. Milo's Kitchen has its own recall on the record. On January 9th, 2013, it was pulled chicken jerky and chicken grillers after New York State found unapproved antibiotic residues in the product. The company said there was no known health risk. And to be fair, that specific recall was about drug residue, a regulatory violation, not the deaths we're about to talk about. But it put Milo's Kitchen in the middle of a much bigger story, the one every jerky treat owner deserves to know. For years, the FDA investigated a wave of dogs getting sick and dying after eating jerky treats. Mostly chicken, mostly made in China. The numbers are staggering. As of the end of 2015, more than 6,200 dogs sickened and more than 1,140 dogs dead connected to jerky treats. The illness attacked their kidneys, and here's where we stay honest with you, because that's the whole job of this channel. After years of testing, the FDA never proved exactly what was causing it, linked to, not proven to have caused. Milo's Kitchen and Purina's Wagon Train were among the most reported brands in those files. Over 1,000 dogs dead, and no one could say for certain why. That's not solved. That's unsolved. And still on shelves. Now, line up the 5 Milk-Bone, Beggin Strips, Dentastix, Pup-Peroni, Milo's Kitchen, 5 bags, 5 brands. The feeling of a whole aisle of choices, 3 owners. And 3 of these 5, Milk-Bone, Pup-Peroni, and Milo's, are the exact same company, J.M. Smucker, the one that makes your Folgers coffee and your Twinkies. The other 2 are a Swiss candy and coffee giant, and the company behind Snickers. The treat aisle isn't a competition, it's a handful of human snack corporations with a dog on the label. And it isn't only these 5. 2 whole categories belong in this warning. Rawhide chews were recalled in 2017 after a cleaning chemical was found in them. And even the clean ones are a real choking and intestinal blockage risk. That's not a scare, it's basic vet advice. And in 2017, the FDA put out a public warning about commercial bone treats. The smoked ham bones and knuckle bones after roughly 68 reports and about 15 dogs died from broken teeth, choking and blockages. The lesson underneath all of it is the same. Nobody approves a treat before it hits the shelf. There is no taste test by a regulator, no safety check on the recipe. The FDA usually shows up after the reports come in, after the dog is already sick. And your dog has no idea, it just trusts the hand. It takes whatever you offer. Every time because you're the one it trusts most in the world. So let's make that hand a safe one. Here's exactly what to reach for instead. Now the good news we promised you, and it's genuinely good. Because a clean treat is one of the easiest upgrades you can make. We're not going to hand you a magic brand and walk away. We'll give you 3 that are actually real meat. And then the checklist so you can spot a good one anywhere on any shelf for the rest of your dog's life. Start with the ones that pass the hardest test, a single ingredient. PureBites is 1 ingredient, American sourced beef liver, freeze-dried, about 5 calories apiece. That's it. Vital Essentials, make single ingredient, freeze-dried raw treats out of Green Bay, Wisconsin. No grains, no dye, no byproducts. And Stewart makes a freeze-dried treat that's 100% beef liver made in the USA. Read those ingredient lists next to a Beggin Strip. One says beef liver, the other says beef sugar, glycerin, propylene, glycol, dye. That's the whole difference in your hand. Now the checklist, so you never need us again. 1. A named meat should be the first ingredient, ideally the only one. Beef liver, chicken breast, not meat or byproduct. 2. The ingredient list should be short, a handful of things you can pronounce, not a paragraph. 3. Check where it's made and where the meat is from. Made in the USA or a clearly named country. Be careful with China source jerky, specifically. That's a category tied to those thousands of illnesses. 4. It should say no to the whole villain list. No glycerin, no propylene glycol, no added sugar, no BHA or BHT, no artificial dyes, no generic meat byproducts. 5. A bonus, USDA inspected or human grade meat is the gold standard. And 6. Match the size to your dog and break big treats in half for small ones. So a treat never becomes a choking hazard. And one rule that matters more than the brand. Veterinary nutritionists at Tufts say treats should be no more than 10% of your dog's daily calories. The other 90% comes from real meals because nearly 6 in 10 dogs in this country are now overweight, and the treat jar is one of the fastest roads there. One last safety note, because your family shares that kitchen. If you use peanut butter as a treat or to hide a pill, check the label for xylitol first. It's in some sugar-free products and it can kill a dog. Read that one label every time, because here's what ties all of this together. Your dog can't read the bag. It can't tell beef liver from propylene glycol. It just trusts the hand every single time for its whole life. So make the label earn it. If the bag can't answer these questions, what meat, how short the list, where it's made, put it back. And honestly, the best treat in the house might be a piece of the real plain meat you're already cooking for dinner. So here's the whole thing. In one line, the version you'll repeat to the next person you catch buying it. 5 of America's favorite dog treats, 3 corporate owners, none of them really a pet company, grains dressed as bacon, starch sold as dental care, a cancer-listed preservative in a reward, and a jerky category tied to over 1,000 dead dogs. And on the other side, a treat. That's one ingredient. Meat. That's the choice. It was always that simple. And if this is what's hiding in the treat jar, ask what's in the rest of the aisle. The dental chews that cost a fortune, the prescription diets sold out of the vet's office, and the biggest question of all, who actually owns the hospital your vet works in. Each of those is bigger, more hidden, and more expensive than what you just saw. We've been digging into all 3, so subscribe and turn on notifications so the next one lands in front of you the day it dropped. Because these are the videos the industry is really hoping you scroll past. We read the labels so the dog that can't read them doesn't pay for it. This is Pet Food Insider. Thanks for being here. Now go look in that treat jar on your counter, turn the bag over, read the back the way your dog would if it could. Stay sharp, stay skeptical, and the next time your dog earns a reward, make sure it's actually a reward.